you find out molested his sister, and your response to him is anger?
I couldn't help it.
Was that anger that he had molested his sister, or was that anger that nobody had ever protected you from your molester?
I think he molested his sister. Why would you do that? Why would you do that to anybody?
Well, why would he do it?
I don't know.
Maybe because he was molested.
Yeah.
I'm not excusing it at all.
I got you.
I'm looking at how you respond to it as a mom. How do you do that?
I didn't know what to do.
I know, Mama.
I didn't know what to do. I
still don't, do you? Because when I'm looking in here, yeah, tell me what you feel bad about.
Because I have spent all these years just trying to make sure Gabby was okay.
But have you mourned your son? Yeah. Because you're holding him as a sexual predator, and not as your baby boy that you fought for years to save. My heart goes out to you, Mama Bear. But you know what? With all of the bells and whistles and the hoopla and everything that's going on, this comes down to one thing. These people don't know how to communicate. Here's what I want you to know. I'm going to tell you this up front. I can give you a learner's permit. I can't give you a driver's license.
Right.
What I mean is, I can teach you a better way to communicate. I can give you some skills and tools and information, but I'm not going to be able to do the fixing here. Y'all have to do the work. This is a long-term, long-standing problem that has millions and millions of tentacles. This is not about Terrell raping Gabby. It's about learning how to speak to each other, learning how to hear each other, learning how to listen to each other.
Right.
And it starts with learning how to listen to yourself.
Right.
The depths of Miss Keisha's pain is palpable. She was torn between her son and her daughter Gabby, a violator and his victim. The damage and pain from that incident spread to Keisha's other daughters, Miss Alicia and Miss Canicia. These two girls have grown up in a house of secrets and shame, taught to hide the truth whenever possible. And for Miss Canicia, that truth is complicated further because of her difficult relationship with her youngest sister, Gabby.
I just feel like when Gabby was born, she just replaced me with everything. Like, that's how it always was. She just, everything she does is always more important than what I do. And that's how it always been.
What would you call what your family is going through right now?
The blaming of each other has just gotten completely out of hand. And it's like we're separated as well as teaming up with certain family members.
Cliques?
Cliques. That's it. We got it.
Are y'all in a clique?
No, I'm not in a clique. I'm by myself.
You by yourself?
I'm always by
And
myself.
I'm by myself as well.
So where's the clique? Ain't that many of
It's
your
my mom
mom?
and Gabby.
Huh?
It's my mom and Gabby.
Your mom and your baby sister. You think they're a clique?
Yeah.
Really?
The reason I say that is because it's kind of like my mom is like Gabby's best friend.
You think so?
Yeah.
Often, sibling rivalries like the one between Canicia and Gabby can contribute to a communication breakdown in the family.
I have a divide between me and my family because I feel like as a child, my family bullied me.
And in this case, that communication breakdown had tragic consequences. So here's what I know. I know that your sister, Gabby, was sexually violated in some manner by your brother.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you knew, but didn't tell. And that's how your mother found out.
Mm-hmm.
And then 6 months after she found out that he had violated Gabby, I'm not saying raped, I'm saying violated Gabby, he died. When did you find out?
I found out the year after my brother passed away.
After he
passed away.
When did you find out?
I found out when Gabby told me.
And when was that?
When I was like 16.
You were 16 when she told you that her brother was molesting her.
Yeah.
And what did she say?
She said he had sex with her.
She said Terrell had sex with me?
Mm-hmm.
And you were 16?
Yeah.
And how old was she?
I'm 5 years older than her, so 11.
And what did you say when she said that?
What do you mean? That's probably what I said. And she was like, he had sex with me.
How did she know what have sex with me mean?
You said how?
How did she know? What's the matter?
That's the first time I heard that. I just heard molesting.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking the question. Because molesting could be touching, it could be probing, it could be anything. But you're saying that Gabby said to you
that he had sex.
He had sex with her.
Yes.
Yeah.
The people that knew, they covered it up. And they don't really see the problem with that. And I find it really, really, really wrong. What that means to me is that, I don't trust my family. He should have went to jail.
Really?
Yes. And my reason for that, because he raped her. My baby still had to see him, regardless of them living in the same house. Whenever I came home, they were in the same house.
You think that your fatally ill brother should have gone to jail?
Yes. Yep. And I think my sister should have gotten counseling, something where she can feel like she wouldn't feel like it's her fault. As well, she became angry.
Hi guys.
She became a person I did not recognize.
That's what I don't understand. Like a lot of times in the African American culture, the parents won't do nothing. They'll tell you to cover up this because they image.
And that is the root of this family's problem. Your sister's telling you that your brother is having sex with her. Why didn't you tell your mother?
Because I never was in a good place with her.
You weren't in a good place with her then?
No, I was never in a good place with her.
Never?
No. Like, probably when I was young, like, probably 6th grade was, like, the last time she would call me out of my name and accuse me of saying that I was a whore, saying that I was a slut, call me bitches, and...
You too?
No, she never called her out her name like that.
Did you hear her call her that?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. That's just how she felt about me.
It's more the things that where we live it's big, but it's small. And so you would hear things about your kids. That's just it. And I used to hear things about my sister while I was in high school. And that's why me and her weren't in a good place either when I was in high school, from 14 to 18 before I left. Because I would hear my people in my school, like I'm 14, 15 years old, and I'm not dating yet. I haven't even had a boyfriend yet. And, the boy's talking about what my sister does,
What did you do?
Nothing.
It's more
So why? Okay, help me. I hear what you're saying.
What I found out is it's not actually my sister that the big deal was about, because they were saying sexual things that she was doing. But it wasn't her. It was her friends that she was hanging out with. And I think the issue
she was just in
at hand to go back to
hung out with the
my mom.
thoughts.
Yeah.
With my mom would hear things about the girls that she hung out with, the things they were doing, and she could only assume my sister was doing it too.
Did your mother educate you about your body?
No.
About sex?
No.
Birth control?
She put me on birth control.
She put you on birth control? When?
When I was like 16.
Had you had sex by then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you had. So when did you first have sex?
First time I ever had sex, somebody raped me. When I was in college, it was true. My mom never did anything for me. We didn't have anything. They cut her pay to where she didn't have anything. Oh, wait a minute. First time I ever had sex, somebody raped me.
What the fuck was that?
Are you kidding me? How old were you?
I was 15.
What are you guys watching or doing?
So somebody raped you?
Yes.
Like too many young women, Kanicia was violated by someone she knew, an older man, while at the home of a close friend. And so what happened?
I was in her room. We was in there sleeping. He came in there. He pulled me by my legs.
And where was she?
She was in the bed too.
So she didn't know he was pulling you by your legs?
She tried to pretend like she didn't.
And so he pulled you by your legs and did what?
He raped me.
Was that the first time you had sex?
Yes.
Did you tell your mother?
It was a year later.
A year later? Why did you wait a year to tell your mother that you had been violated? Were you and her not on good terms at that point?
I just didn't tell her.
A mother who was molested A daughter who was raped by an acquaintance, another daughter raped by her own brother, who himself was raped. It's a family pathology that has landed right in the lap of Miss Gabby.
So, Miss Gabby, I've had a conversation with your mom, had a conversation with your sisters, and everybody has a story about you and for you. So I want to hear your story from you.
I guess I can start off. I have 2 children.
Wait a minute, let's start all the way at the beginning.
My name is Caitlin Wiley. Everybody calls me Gabby. I'm 21 years old. I feel like I'm broken in certain ways. I feel like my self-esteem is a lot low. My trust level with people is really low. And I feel like what happened to me when I was a child reflected on everything with me as an adult.
Now, what I've heard and what I've read in your interview notes is that you were sexually violated by your brother, who is now deceased.
Yes,
is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
You told Kinesia when you were 11.
I told Kinesia when I was about, around the time it started, when I was about 8.
And you told her?
I told her.
How old was she?
So we're 5 years apart, so she should be like 13.
Miss Gabby is telling me that Kinesia knew about her violation for years, much earlier than Kinesia led me to believe.
You were 16?
Yeah.
And how old was she?
11.
This family's pathology is historical, and in order to heal their past, they must first be able to communicate it truthfully with me and with each other.
Why didn't you tell your mother?
I didn't know how to.
Same way you told Kanisha.
Yeah. I just always felt like we weren't going to have a connection if I was to tell her that. I guess at the time, I just really didn't know how to go to my mom and just like, say the same thing I would say to. Because at the time, like, I look at Kinesia as my friend. Like,
did you want Kinesia to stop Terrell?
I figured that she would probably say something to someone else, but she didn't.
I can only imagine how difficult this is.
I feel like I don't have any connection with men. None.
You just have to shut it down.
You can't trust anybody, I never had friends
Because? I never had friends because?
I never had friends because I didn't allow myself to have friends.
Because?
Because I kept myself closed up so people wouldn't be able to hurt me.
And they wouldn't know that you had been having sex with your brother.
Yeah, they wouldn't know that I was having sex with him. They wouldn't know that. Because it's embarrassing for one.
Absolutely. Good for you. Good to say that.
For Gabby, her sisters, and her mother, the key to their healing lies in being able to share their experiences with one another. But in order to share their stories, they have to be able to hear each other's stories without judgment.
I talked to each of you this morning, and each and every one of y'all have a different story about the same thing. Did you know that? You got one story, she got one story, she got one story, you got one story. And none of y'all are communicating about your stories.
Right.
Everybody fills in for the other person, making up what they thought, what they said, what they meant. And that's why you stay focused on the problem, not on the solution. Everybody's got to be on the same side of the table. Come on, get on the same side of the table. I mean, literally. Because as long as you're holding on to your story, telling your part, everybody has to be on the same side of the table. So do you all know that each of you have a different interpretation of the same experience? Oh, wait a minute. Central.
The fuck?
So do you all know that each of you have a different interpretation of the same experience? Oh, wait a minute.
He scared me.
Okay, all right, okay. That was a little shocking. So now, tell me what you saw.
It's crazy.
With this exercise, it is my intention to show them that while their experiences are their own, it doesn't make someone else's version of it any less true or valuable.
So let me ask you this. How many males were there? How many females were there?
I think I saw two males and one female.
What did you see?
2 males and 1 female.
What did you see?
2 males and 2 females.
What did you see?
I saw 1 male, 1 female.
All y'all on the same side of the table, had the exact same experience, and saw something different. And it's all about people's perception and interpretation. So why is this any different than what happened in the household growing up?
What do y'all think about this episode
these
so
women
far?
must be willing to listen, hear, and learn how to communicate compassionately with one another.
I want to give y'all each one of these. I want to look at some rules for communication. And let's see if y'all are following any of these rules. All right? Do not speak when someone else is speaking. Do y'all follow that rule?
No.
Y'all crosstalk.
Yes.
Trying to get everybody on your side. Who's the biggest
Me too,
crosstalker?
like Iyanla, a lot of people said that she's tough, but she didn't come there to play. She came there to fix your life. She's not gonna treat y'all like y'all some kids.
Well, at least you know it. She owned it. She said, yeah. Who do you be talking to?
What?
When somebody's talking and you cross-talking.
Well, when my brother was there, I would be talking to him.
Okay. Were you close to him?
Very close to him. He was like my best friend. We were only 13 months apart. We went to school together. We always went to the same school.
So I can't even imagine what it was like to have your baby sister tell you that your best friend was violating her. What do you do with that information? Did you know that he was her best friend?
Yeah.
Wow. Here's what I want you to know. The reason she told you instead of you was because you were his best friend and she thought you could stop him. Of course, she didn't communicate that to you. It suggested her mind. Would that be accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
She didn't say that. But she figured if she told you that he was doing something wrong, and as his best friend, you would stop him.
I did stop him.
No, you didn't. He didn't stop. You stopped him eventually when you blurted out what he had done, but you didn't say that to stop him. You said that to hurt him. You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, you didn't say it to hurt him. You were saying it to hurt her.
As the pressure built up at home, Kanicia hoped to leave her troubles behind by going to college, but her resentment toward her family did not get easier with the distance.
When I
This
was
is
in college,
so
it was
sad.
true.
The
My
whole
mom never did anything
family
for me. She couldn't,
was
well, not to say that. She didn't want to.
abused.
She couldn't afford to do anything to help me in college because Gabby had a baby.
Well, this is why you never judge a book by a cover, or you never make fun of people because you never know what they
didn't
going
have
through.
anything. They cut her pay to where she didn't have anything. It was times where we would split a meal. It was just us. It's not that because I had a baby. We were struggling ourselves. Like,
They cut my pay. I couldn't walk away from the job. Why wouldn't I have money to marry him? They cut my pay from $19 an hour to $10 an hour. I was bound to bring her home $300 every 2 weeks.
Tell me why you're crying, Mama. Tell me why you're crying.
Because it hurt. But would think that I would not take care of him. I didn't have it. I didn't want to lose my house. I would have been, my children were homeless. We slept in our car, and I don't never want to be homeless again. I tried to explain to them. I just didn't have it. I just didn't have it.
Well, you know, there's a thing that I'm hearing here and seeing here. There's an impact of poverty that leaves
Kids need to
everybody
stop putting
kind of
everything on their
broken in a way.
parents.
And I'm watching
people
you.
need to feel and realize your parents are human
You
beings.
got to learn how to hear that stuff
People
in
mess
your
up,
belly
like,
and sit in it. Because the
they
worst
can't be
thing
perfect.
in the world is for a child to think that they're hurting their mama. But if you're going to fall apart every time they tell you something, then you set it up so they don't tell you the truth.
I understand that now.
Well, you need to. Well,
Hurt
suck
people
it up.
hurt people.
Yeah. I don't care what they
That's
say.
all
You
I'm
sit
saying.
there, you twiddle, you eat, you do it up. Then when they finish, you run screaming from the room.
Hearing leads to understanding and acceptance. That is the work for this family. For their homework tonight, I am asking them to take the time to consider how they feel about each other and themselves, because tomorrow is a big day. What is the truth that you've been afraid to tell? It's day 2 here at the safe house for a mother and her daughters who are learning to communicate. And I'm really interested to see what they did with their homework. Because what I know is that whenever there's a communication breakdown, there has to be a bully and an attacker, a rescuer, and a victim. And I'm just wondering how they see themselves this morning. There is a unspoken cloud.
You're already sweet
among
and
y'all.
savory.
I really want to be able to support you all in communicating this and clearing this up. Otherwise, I can't even send you home with a learner's permit, because that right there is violence. It's violent. That you just throw your funk into space and you keep your face so funked up till people either have to ask you what's wrong with you or ignore you. But you occupy in the space. Gabby's anger and hostility makes it difficult for her to be in the same space with her family. Her body language alone makes it impossible to communicate. And Miss Canicia is carrying that same hostility. What is it? Hurt, resentment, bitterness? What is it that you're still feeling?
I feel that they view me in a negative way.
And who would that be?
Speaking of present, my mom and Gabby.
Okay. So let them know. Turn and face them.
You always try to make it seem like I'm just a bad person.
You remember calling her a whore, slut, and bitch?
I do.
Why did you do that, Mama?
I was wrong, but it was her behavior and what she was doing.
No. I was wrong. Period.
I was wrong.
Look at her and tell her I was wrong.
I don't know how, as a mom,
wrong
you
for
can
calling
call
you
your
those
own
names.
kid
Yeah.
a slut.
And why did you
that.
do it?
I
What
don't
did it
care if they
remind you
are.
of?
I would never
My behavior?
call my kid a slut. Like, it starts at
Did you
home.
hear
Like,
that?
parents need to feel and realize, like, if you...
Tell her more.
There's
Tell her
different
about your
type of
experience,
abuse.
about
You
your
can verbal
behavior.
abuse, sexual abuse.
Take a
Like,
breath.
you can't tell your
You're
kids
not
they
mom
ain't
right
shit
now.
or they a hoe
You're
and
just
they
one
this, and
woman
then
sharing with
when they
another.
act out on it, you want to act surprised. These parents is something else.
Being sexually violated for so many years
Like, parents don't
put me
understand
in
what
a
they
really,
do to
really
their
bad
kids.
situation when I was younger.
I called you what I felt was true about me.
I called you what I felt about me.
Parents be the first
Because
one to mess
nobody
up
ever
their
taught me any
kids
different.
and wonder why
No one ever
they
taught
have
me
so
any
many
different.
mental problems. And they
Do you
want to
know
blame the
how
school, blame
often
people,
parents do
friends.
that?
No, it's
when they
you.
project their brokenness onto their children and say things to them that maybe they're feeling about themselves, but it's easier to see it on you and put it on you. For Miss Keisha, recognizing why she feels the way she does about her daughter is a good first step. Now, I will support her to see just how much or how little her thoughts about Canicia
I agree,
were based
Savory.
in reality.
The mother didn't
How
have
do you
time
know
to
your daughter
heal,
was
and
promiscuous?
I asked her what
she had to like
sex.
boast up because she had kids. Like,
She
you
said
can't.
yes.
Like,
Her
I
behavior
understand they
just
said
started
kids come
changing.
first, but
I knew she
I
was
feel
being
like,
promiscuous, and she
in
knew
my
that.
opinion,
You
I feel
know
like
know
the
you
mother
was being
come first
promiscuous.
because you can't take
Well,
care of somebody if
it
you're not
appeared that
good.
way.
If your head not
How
good,
much
your
of-
spirit not
of
good, you
what
can't
you
take
saw
care of
in
somebody
her was
else.
a function of what you believed about yourself.
A lot of it was what I believed about myself, but I know for sure that she was being promiscuous. And she won't admit that.
If we want to go ahead and just put it out there, they were making the assumption that I was sleeping with boys, but I was sleeping with my friend that was a girl.
What? Oh? Hello, wait a minute.
Oh, no. Okay.
They were making an assumption that I was sleeping with boys, but I was sleeping with my friend that was a girl.
What? Oh? Hello, wait a minute.
Oh,
A lot of people won't tell their family that they like the same sex
Yum to the
because,
yum, yum.
as you can see,
This
they
makes
really
perfect sense to me.
judgmental.
And they tried
Like,
to make
it
it
shouldn't
seem like I
matter
was
what
sleeping with
sex
the
you
boy, and I
like.
wasn't.
You were using the
sleeping with
boys to cover up the fact that you were sleeping with the girl. Take a breath,
People
everybody.
want to preach the Bible, but they being biased
So are you
and
gay?
I'm not gay, I'm bisexual.
judging people. In the Bible, you're not supposed to judge people, but
Now, why
a lot
would
of
you
people
hide
judge
that
gay
from
people
them?
or anybody that's
Because
in the
they're
LGBTQ community.
so are
Like, I
you.
don't get it. And then another
It's
thing I don't get,
okay.
parents be like, oh, if you need to talk to me, you can talk to me
It's
about
okay,
anything.
it's okay.
But if you say that,
It's okay.
automatically, especially
But
in
I
the black
want you to see how
community,
you set it up like
you can't go to church with me no
Just
more,
like I
or I
said
don't want
to
you to
her,
go to
she
the
don't
family
tell you
function,
truth.
or I don't want you
You don't
around
tell
me,
your
or I'm gonna
truth.
kick you out. Like,
So you leave yourself open
and
to
then
other
parents want to
people's
do that.
interpretations
Like,
of you.
if something happens to their kid when they kick them out, they want to act
Mama,
like they care.
your
If you
daughter's
care, you should never kick them
bisexual.
out.
So she wasn't sleeping with boys. She was using the boys to cover up the fact that she was sleeping with girls. And why did you do that? Did you think she would be upset about that?
Yeah, because she was sometimes make comments about gay people.
Yeah.
I joke around.
She joke around. My mom doesn't. She don't hate gay people or nothing. She just make jokes.
That's the line for
You'd rather be
everybody.
mad at
Everybody
them for
be like,
saying you
"Oh,
were
I was
sleeping
just
with a
joking. I
boy.
didn't mean it."
But you wouldn't tell
Yeah,
them the
whatever.
truth that you
You
were
really
sleeping.
mean that, but you just want to say
You
joking
projecting that onto
because
them.
you don't want to hurt
What
their
is the truth
feelings or
that you've been afraid to
etc.
tell?
No, you mean that.
That I might not like God as much as I think, and I feel like I'm forcing it.
It's okay.
I have resentment from
I don't
him
care
because
what
I know
society
that
thinks.
treated
I
me.
like what I like. If you don't care, if you got a problem, oh well. I don't have
Miss
to.
Kanisha,
Like, if people that
when
straight
you
don't
have
have to
that
come
little
out saying
hurt
they
in your
straight,
heart like that,
why do you care?
when you feel
Even though I don't
sad
mind
like
saying
that,
it, but why do you care?
where do you
Like,
go?
it's not your life.
Who just
And then the
holds
people
on to you
that
unless you
be
know that
making
it's
fun of gay
okay?
people and stuff like that, some of them be scared to come out themselves, but
If they
you
wanted
shouldn't
to,
bring
would
down
you let
somebody
them?
else
I
that's
would
in
let
your
them.
community. Like,
Oh,
I
I
just
guess
don't
it's
get it. If
good.
we're in the same
Miss
community, why are you trying
Panacea
to bring
spent
down that person just
years
because
covering up who
you
she
so
really
scared to
is
come out?
and what her experiences really are, all because she thought her family might judge her, just like her sister Gabby.
Miss Gabby
Hey, Shay.
and I had a really good conversation yesterday about her experience with her brother. So I've asked Miss Gabby to just really share with you her experience and how it felt, what she thought about it, and even some of what she's carrying today. Okay? Take your time. It started when I was...
It started when I was 8. That's about the good age that I can remember.
He would.
He would touch me. He would crawl on the floor and he would touch me. He was basically like bullying me, telling me that I couldn't tell you. You know, telling me that you wouldn't accept me anymore because I told you, or you wouldn't care for me, or you wouldn't love me anymore. And when we having the bond that I have with you, that itself alone, it scared me to even think to tell you, you know. There was times where I guess like my body would just freeze. Cause like I wanna react, I wanna scream, I wanna say something. But because he's standing there like, you better not say nothing, you know? Or he's like, it's just, you know, that look in his face that he would get. And I didn't know how to control it. I didn't know how to handle that.
An abuser's greatest weapon is fear. Keeping their victim frightened keeps their victim silenced. And for a
How is
family where
everybody day
communication
going?
is already an issue, it was a perfect storm for Miss Gabby.
What do you want to say to your daughter, Mama?
Please forgive me. I realize now, from the ages that you said, because I was being so hurt by I would intentionally work longer hours.
You welcome,
So
Kiki
I
and
had to
Kim.
face it. And I ask you to just be open so you can heal. Because it breaks my heart. And it hurts so bad.
Mama? Does it hurt
Mine's is
for her or
going
does it
good.
hurt
This
for
show
you?
is crazy. I saw the commercial and I was like, I needed to see this.
And where's your hurt for yourself?
I always put it on the back burner.
Well, that's not helpful. That is not going to turn out well. Because what happens, Mama, is you don't give her the space in the room to have her own pain. She's too busy trying to manage your hurt. And she needs to sit in that and let it bubble up inside of her so that she can feel it and release it. But if you hurting for her, she will stay numb. She will check out. She will withhold and withdraw.
That is
and
so
continue
true. Like
to
if a
attract
kid see that their
knuckleheads
parent is
who
going through
violate
something,
you.
a lot
Because
of times
your
the kid
first
won't
sexual
say nothing because they feel
experience was
like
a
they're a
betrayal
burden
and a
on their parents, and the
violation
kid should
by a
never
man
ever
that you
feel that
loved.
way. But at the same
And it's
time,
okay
like
to
we're
love
all
him.
human, we all make
Miss
mistakes,
Gabby,
so
it's okay
you
to
just
love
gotta
him and still be hurt and
try to
angry
forgive your
about what
parent.
he did.
These women have made some incredible progress in communicating with each other, but there is one more family member they must speak with in order to truly find their peace.
He still has place right between the two of you. Even though his body isn't there, his energy is there, his name is there. And you gotta talk to him and you gotta talk about him with compassion. What do you need to say to him? How could you? Tell him.
How could you?
Yeah.
How could you take my innocence away from me? My childhood away from me?
What else? Come on, talk to him. Talk to him. It don't have to be nice and it don't have to be pretty right now. Talk to him.
I feel so bad that I wish that you would die.
Yeah.
I mean, right after it came out, you died.
Yeah.
I still love you no matter what.
Yes.
I just hurt. I forgive you.
Ah. Yeah. Yes. Go get your baby sister. Sit right next to her. Yeah, yeah. Hold her. Yeah. Hold her. Hold her. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Miss Kanisha, what do you need to say to your brother?
Terrell, when nobody else understood your pain, I did. But that still does not excuse what you did to Gabby, because hurting somebody never fixes the problem. I couldn't understand why he would do that to her, because I knew deep down inside that was not the person that he was. And I forgive you.
Yes.
And I love you.
Yeah.
I always will love you.
When you hear his story from a different perspective, you can find compassion and not just, he did this, he did this, he did this. Doesn't change. Doesn't change.
This is so crazy. The brother was sexually
with a different
assaulted too.
Mama, what do you want to say to your baby boy?
But what he
you
did
never
wasn't
really
right.
gave yourself a chance to mourn because you was too busy being mad at
But
him.
if you take yourself out the equation, you can
sit next to your mama.
Sort of understand.
Come on, sit next to your mama. Come on, sit next to your mama. We ain't leaving you out, because see, you over there saying, see how they all over there together? Get over there on that end. Come on, squeeze it out. She bringing her booty over there. Yeah. Everybody on the same side of the table.
I just don't understand.
Me too, because they needed this, and I hope that it
He
works.
was a hurt little boy. Because he lived every day of his life
it's not
in
gonna work
pain.
that fast, but trying
because
to
he hurt in ways that he can't even imagine.
Because every morning he woke up never knowing if he was going to see the end of the day. Because his bones hurt, and his skin hurt, and his hair hurt, and his heart hurt, and his soul hurt. And because somebody taught him how to crawl across the floor and violate someone younger and less powerful than him. That's why, Mama. That's why. Not because he was a bad person. But you know what? When you live every day wondering what day you're gonna die, you ain't got nothing to lose.
Right?
You ain't got nothing to lose.
Right?
I'm not saying what he did was right, but a lot of people that was like
They
raped,
miss you, Terrell.
some of them would like do it to others, and to them that's not bad because that's all that they know. So
That's
they
one thing.
think
That's the only time all of y'all
that
have agreed on
it's not a bad thing. So when they do it to somebody else, they don't think it's bad.
This right here that I'm looking at, this is a good thing.
Something we didn't even do when he died.
Yeah.
Anybody who went through that, I just hope that you get help, and like it's just sad.
You don't have to romanticize him, and you don't have to vilify him. Just tell the truth about him. Give yourself permission to love him and tell the truth about him. Give yourself permission to miss him and tell the truth about him, and that'll come through forgiveness.
I don't know if they did. Maybe at the end.
I think our work here is done. But you've got your rules. You got to practice them. You got to call each other on them. You got to be good to each other. You got to look out for each other. Room in a little bit. So how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. But you can't just use your mouth. You need tools. But you've got to know how to use the tools, and that takes practice. For this family, now that they have been given tools, it is my prayer that they will be able to devour that elephant. How?
This is Alex Mack. We're kicking off the Camp Kona tour powered by Hyundai. I'm hanging out with Dan Deacon, who is performing tonight.
I was excited to hear that it was going to be in these small, intimate venues and activities.